Hello everybody, are you guys ready to learn some crochet? Alright, let's do it. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to make this hat here. It's actually very, very pretty. I like it. I like it a lot. So this is worked top down and the ribbing is put on at the end. It's actually pretty easy. You will need to know how to do double crochet and back post double crochet and single crochet. This is a single crochet ribbing down here, and I can give you a measurement on it. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Alright, so this should fit approximately 19 to 22 inch head, and then it is about 7.5 inches long. You can make it longer if you like. I do talk about that later, how you can make it a slouchy if you want. So, you guys want to give it a go? It does have a seam on the back. I'm not particularly proud of it, but you know what? Seams are just sometimes a part of life. It just sometimes no matter how hard you try, you can't get around them. Alright, let's do it. Let me set this to the side. We'll go ahead and get started, and I'll talk about the yarn that I use. So the yarn that I use for this particular hat is a Madeline Tosh. It's called Tosh Vintage. It is a 100% super wash merino. The color that I have here is called liquid gold. It is a medium weight number 4, and there are 200 yards or 182 meters per ball. You'll probably need about 180 yards to finish this hat for that particular size. And then I'm going to be using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start off with a slip knot on our hook. You can use the magic circle if you prefer. I am going to work a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to slip stitch back into the first stitch to form a ring. Just like that. So there's our ring. I'm going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. I'm going to try to carry this tail with me, and I'm going to be working through the center of that ring. I need to work 12 double crochets through the center of that ring. So I'm going to yarn over, go into the ring, draw up my loop, and then do my double crochet as normal. So that would be double crochet number 1. Again, yarn over, go into the ring, draw up a loop, and do my double crochet as normal. There's number 2, and we will continue this until we have a total of 12 double crochets. So I got 1, 2, 3, there's 4, there's 5. I'll meet back up with you when I have 12. Alright, I've come to the end of round 1, and I have 12 double crochets. Pull on your tail and close up that center circle. And we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into our first double crochet. Not that chain 1, but the first double crochet. And that ends round 1. Alright, let's go ahead and start round 2. We're going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and we're going to go and we're going to work right back into the stitch here that we just slip stitched into, and we're going to work 2 double crochets into that spot. So there's 1 and there's 2. Now we're going to work around, and we're going to work 2 double crochets into each double crochet all the way around. So there's 1 and there's 2. Now we're going to move on to the next, and we're going to work 2 double crochets into this one. 1 and there's 2. So round 2 consists of 2 double crochets in every stitch until we make it back around to our starting point. You should have 24 stitches when you make it back around, and that's where I'll meet back up with you. Alright, so I've made it to the end of round 2, and I have a total of 24 stitches. We're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet, like that. There we go. And now we're going to begin in round 3. We're going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. We're going to work our first stitch right here where we just slip stitched. We're going to go right into that and work 1 double crochet, like that. And now the next stitch, we're going to put 2 double crochets into the same stitch. So there's 1 and there's 2. And that's going to be the repeat for round 3. We are going to work 1 double crochet into the next stitch. And then the next stitch we will work 2 double crochets into the same stitch. So there's 1 and 2. Again, 1 double crochet into the next stitch. And then the next stitch will get 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Now we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around for round 3. When you make it back around, you should have a total of 36 stitches, and that's where I'll meet back up with you. Alright, so I've made it to the end of round 3. I do have 36 stitches. Should have ended with 2 double crochets in your last stitch. We're going to go ahead and slip stitch into our first double crochet to end that round. Now round 4, we're going to be working back post double crochets. That's what's going to create the ridges on the hat. Okay, so we're going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. Okay, so we need to do a back post double crochet around this first stitch. This one's always the hardest one because we're going around the chain 1 from the previous row and the double crochet as well. But we're going to yarn over and go around the post from the back like that, and then pull it through, and then a double crochet like normal. There it is. All right, and now we're going to do a back post double crochet into the next stitch. Like that. So we have 2 back post double crochets in a row. See that? Now the next stitch is going to be an increase stitch, and it's got to be done a certain way. Since we're going to be putting 2 back post double crochets around the same stitch here, they have to be done in a certain order or they will not lay correctly. So what we're going to do is go ahead and yarn over and do the first back post double crochet around the next stitch. Just like you normally would. Now the next one is going to go around the same stitch, okay, but it's going to be done a little differently. So we're going to yarn over and we're going to go around it like this. Did you see that? So what we did was we put the second one on top of the first one. So if that made any sense on the post, we did the first one, and then when we did the second one, we did it on top of that first one. That way it lays correctly. If it was done the opposite way, they would be kind of crossed. I'll show you again though. So we're going to do a back post double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 in that one, and then we're going to go to the next one and do a 1 back post double crochet into that one. So that's 2 in a row. So the next one will be the increased stitch. It's going to get 2 back post double crochets around the post of it. So we're going to go ahead and do the first one like normal. Like that. and then we're going to yarn over and we're going to do the next one. Or what we're going to do, what we do is go to the very top like that and back around. That way you're on top of the post that you just did, and then go ahead and do your double crochet like that. So now they are laying more flat than they would if you would have done it in the opposite direction. So let's do it one more time. We're going to do a back post double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So there's one, and then we're going to go to the next one, and then we're going to do 1. Okay, and the next one we're going to put 2 back post double crochets into that. So go ahead and do the first one like normal. Okay, second one, you got to go at the very top. Here's your post. Very, very top of it. Very, very, very top of it. And that'll, you can, if you want, you can slide down the post before. Just make sure you're on top of it. And then do the back post double crochet. Just like that. Nice. Nice. If it helps, yeah, you can slide that down the post. So this is the pattern that we're going to repeat all the way around. Back post double crochet into the next 2 stitches. There's 1, and then 1 in the next, and then again the next one we'll get 2 back posts in the same stitch. So we'll go ahead and do the first one, and then the next one goes in the same spot, but we got to make sure that it's on top of this one. So we're going to yarn over, and I always go to the very top of it like that. And like I said, if it helps, you can slide that other post down a bit and then go ahead and do your back post. There you go. And you got 2 in the same stitch. Nice. So we're going to go ahead and repeat this pattern all the way around until we make it back to our starting point. All right, made it to the end of round 4, and you can see the ridge that we created all the way around it. 48 stitches is what we should have, and we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into our first double crochet. Like that. So we're not working in the ribbing that the post created. We're going to be working back here. In row 5, we're going to chain 1. This will be just a double crochet row. We do still have to do increasing. So we're going to do a double crochet into the first 3 stitches, 1 into each of them. So I chained 1, going back into the very first stitch. There's 1, and then the next one. 2, and the next one there's 3, and now the next stitch will be an increase stitch. We're going to put 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and that will be the increase now, or the repeat now for round 5. 1 double crochet in each of the next 3. There's 1, 2, 3, and then 2 double crochets into the next stitch. One double into each of the next 3. 1, 2, 3, and 2 doubles into the next. Now we're going to repeat this pattern of 3 double crochets in a row, and then 2 doubles into the next, all the way around. And when you make it back to your starting point, you should have a total of 60 stitches, and that's where I'll meet back up with you. All right, I have made it to the end of round 5, and you should have a total of 60 stitches now. And we're going to go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet, and we do have to do 1 more round of increases, and this is a back post double crochet row. All right, so this will be row 6. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to work a back post double crochet into each of the first 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, back post double, and remember this first one we got to go around that chain 1 and the double crochet from that previous row. It's always a little tricky. There it is. Okay, there's one. Two. Three. And there's four. So we did four in a row. Next stitch is the increased stitch. So remember, we got to do the 2 back post double crochet. So we'll go ahead and do our first one like normal. And the second one has to be on top of the one that we just did. So I go to the very top as close as I can get it. And then if it helps, you can push down that other post just a bit. The one we just made. And then go ahead and do your second post in that stitch. There it is. Alright, now we're going to repeat that all the way around here. So again, double crochet, back post a double crochet into the next 4. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the next one is our increase stitch where we got to do the 2 and 1 right here. So we're gonna go ahead and do our first one, that, and then the second one I go as close to the top as possible, and then I'm going to slide down this other post if that helps to get it out of the way. So just so your second one sets on top of the first one. There it is. Alright. And that is the repeat now for round 6. 4 back post double crochets in a row, and then 2 back post double crochets in the next. Just make sure that your second one sets on top of your first one. Alright. Do that all the way around, and you should have 72 stitches at the end of round 6, and I'll meet back up with you there. Alright, so I made it to the end of row 6, and you should have 72 stitches now. You want to go ahead and end by slip stitching into your first double crochet. So at this point we would measure our crown. I, for the life of me, cannot find my tape measure. I have 175, 178 tape measures, and I can't find one of them. But what you want to do is measure the diameter, and you shoot from anywhere between 6 to 6 3/4 inches. And I'm just going to say, since I've been making hats for a gazillion hats in my lifetime, that's probably about what I got. I'm just going to roll with it. All right. Okay. Well, now we're not going to be increasing anymore. We have 72 stitches. That's what we're going to have for the rest of the pattern. So what we're going to do is chain 1, and now this is a double crochet row. So what we're going to do is go back into that very first stitch and double crochet, and then we're going to work around, and we're going to put 1 double crochet into the top of every stitch. Remember, we are not working in the ridges left by those back posts. Those stay unworked. But row 7 is 1 double in every stitch all the way around. So no more increasing. It's just 1 double crochet in every stitch around. Row 7 also starts the repeat. It's a 2-row repeat. Alright, so I'm going to continue around putting 1 double crochet in every stitch. When you get back around to the end of row 7, you should have a total of 72 stitches, and that's where I'll meet back up with you. Alright, so I come to the end of row 7. It's okay if your hat's looking like a weird bowl. It'll do that. It'll do that for a while. Alright, so 72 stitches here. Gonna go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet, and then we're going to start row 8. We're going to chain 1. Now row 8 is a back post double crochet row, but we're just doing 1 back post double crochet in every stitch around. So we go ahead and do that first one. And and then we're going to work around, putting a back post double crochet into every single stitch all the way around. We will not be putting 2 in any of the stitches, just 1, creating a ridge. All right, this is row 8, 1 back post double every stitch. We make it back around. We still will have a total of 72 stitches. All right, I'll meet back up with you when we make it back around. All right, made it to the end of row 8. Still looking pretty funny. That's okay. It's gonna look funny for a while. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and end by slip stitching into our first double crochet. 72 stitches is what we still have. Now we're just gonna repeat rows 7 and 8. So it's a double crochet row, and then the back post double crochet row, double crochet row, back post double crochet row. And we're going to repeat that for a few rounds. I'm not quite sure. So we're starting round 9 now, and it is the double crochet row. 1 double crochet in every stitch, 72 stitches at the end of the round. And then row 10 would be the back post double crochet row, and so on. Like I said, I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do, because I think I'm going to put a brim on this one. So I probably won't go all the way down. But I'll let you know here in just 1 second how many total rows that I do. Remember, we're just repeating rows 7 and 8. Double crochet row, and then the back post double crochet row, and then repeat it again and again. All right, I'll see you in a second. All right, so I made it back around. Now you can do as many rows as you'd like. I have done, starting from row 1, a total of 15 rows. All right, now I'm going to put a some ribbing on it. Let's do some ribbing for the brim. All right, so I got my 15 rows done. Not super happy about that seam in the back, but hey, what can you do, right? Hats sometimes have seams. Huh. Well, I hope it looks okay whenever I put it on. I don't know. It's an interesting look. All right, so why don't we go ahead and put a brim on it. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. It's your hat. You do you, I do me. Like I always say, you can do more rows of this, make it longer. And if you want to make it slouchy, you can just add a couple more inches than I do. That's what I usually do. Or for slouchies, I usually make them 2 or 3 more inches longer than a normal beanie. But anyways, so I think I'm going to do, let me think about it for a second. Let's see, we got horizontal ribbing going on. Let's do some vertical ribs. Yeah! To kind of counteract the horizontal ribs we got going on. It'll be the vertical horizontal beanie. I don't know what it's gonna be. All right, so we're gonna do some. Let's do some single crochet ribbing. Yeah, let's do that in the back loop. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and start off? So I slip stitched here. Let's just start with a chain of 1, 2, 3, 4. I think how long I want my ribbing. 5 and 6. 6 loops. 6 chains there. Hopefully that's not too long. Okay, so we are going to do I don't know if you've ever worked the single crochet ribbing before in the back loop. It's beautiful ribbing. A lot of people though will start it at the bottom and work their hat up. I don't like to work very often hats from the bottom up. I prefer top down, so I can attach the ribbing at the bottom as we go here. So I start with a chain of 6. So I'm going to go ahead and single crochet in the 2nd stitch from our hook. And then we're going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch of that chain, which will give us 5 single crochets. So that is how thick the ribbing will be. Well, the one I'm doing. You can do yours bigger or smaller, whatever you want. I'm going to do 5 single crochet ribbing. All right. So once you make it down here to the bottom, what you want to do is slip stitch into the next stitch. And then slip stitch one more time into the next one. Like that. And then we are going to chain 1 and turn our work around. And now we're going to work back up this chain 5. And we're only going to be working in the back loops now. All right. So I like to count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I get the right one. Okay. Now the back loop, you see each stitch has 2 loops. The one closest to you is the front loop. The one furthest away is the back loop. So we're going to go ahead and go into back loop only. And we're going to single crochet in those 5 stitches. There's 1, back loop only of the next one. There's 2, back loop only of the next one. There's 3, back loop only of the next one. There is 4, and back loop only of the very last one here at the top makes 5. And then we are going to chain 1, turn our work again, and now we're going to go back down working in the back loop only again. So we got to go into this very first stitch here and go into the back loop of it only, and we work 1 single crochet in the back loop only of these 5 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That bottom one there, that's like a chain 1 or something that we did earlier. So we are going to, here's the one that we just worked in. We're going to go into the next one and slip stitch, and then the one after that and slip stitch like that. And then we're going to do it again. We're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to come up and start from the bottom. I like to count down so I get the right one, because the chain ones kind of confuse me sometimes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one right here, back loop only, single crochet in the 5 stitches in the back loop. There's 1, 2, sorry about that, 3. Don't mean to get it like right up in your face. 4, and there is 5. Then we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to go back down it again. So starting in the back loop of this very, very top stitch here, we chained 1 in that very, all right, I got to get it right up in here, this very first stitch, back loop of it, we single crochet. All right, and we do it in the 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is 5. And again, that's like a chain 1 or something, I'm not sure, but anyways, so we started into the stitch. We're going to slip stitch into the next one, and then the next one after that, and then we chain 1 and turn, and we repeat. And this is what we're going to keep repeating all the way around our hat until we make it back. It's going to go all the way around until we make it back to here, and I'll show you how we seam it up. Alright, so I made it around to my beginning. I actually have 1 stitch that remains. That's fine. So here's where we just slip stitched into, and then I went down my back loop of my 5, and I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into this one, I'm going to tie off and leave a little bit of a tail here so I can sew up at the seam. Alright, then you want to take your yarn needle and we'll just sew up the end and the beginning like this. I'm going to go into this back loop here like this and then through both loops like that. And then back through the next stitch and through, I guess it's the front loop I'm going through on this one. Like that. And the next stitch, going through the front loop of it, and then the next stitch over here, just kind of going through the loops. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just match them up here. Like that. And I got one more here. Bottom. All right, now if you want to go back up it again just to be safe, that's probably what I'll do. So I'm gonna go ahead and just probably just neatly go back up, sew back up one more time, back and forth, and then I'm going to tie it off and hide any tails that I have. All right, it's finished. I hope that you enjoyed my tutorial. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and check out all my other tutorials. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And if you enjoyed this, please give me a like, get a comment below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.